It's great to be back.
This is WNBC-TV, New York.
News Center 4 at 11 with special election coverage. Brought to you by Citibank and by Amoco.
Good evening to you once again. I'm Chuck Scarborough. Jack Cafferty and I will be bringing you the latest election results this evening in Decision 78. And in New York State, Decision 78 has all the makings of a Democratic sweep for the statewide offices right now. We are projecting that Governor Hugh Carey will win in his race for the governorship, to repeat his four-term race there, that he will beat Perry B. Duryea, the Assembly Minority Leader and Montauk lobster seafood man. And right now in the statewide returns, as we take a look at the boards, we can see that Governor Carey has a substantial lead with 25% of the precincts reporting our projected winner, the incumbent, with 56% of the vote, a little better than 600,000. Perry Duryea, 44% of the vote right now. A clear lead for Governor Hugh Carey, who once again is our projected winner. Now let's take a look at this citywide. Remember the numbers. You can see the predominance of voting right now is from the city. And in the city, it's 66% for Carey, 34% for Duryea. So you can see right now New York City is the story in this race. Take a look at Long Island and the results there. Now this is Duryea country. Duryea is from Montauk. And look at this, how close it is on Long Island. Duryea with 53% to Carey's 47% in the breakout of the vote right there. Tony Guida is standing by right now. Governor Carey came on very strong in the final days of campaigning, came from behind to win. And he'll keep his job for another 4 years. Tony Guida has been looking at the reasons for this. He has our News Center 4 Associated Press poll. Tony?
Chuck, one of the big issues of the campaign was who did more to aid New York City. Now, of the people who voted for a candidate because of his stand on New York City, 9 out of 10 favored Carey. Our poll also showed the subject of trust to be strong for Carey. Almost two-thirds, 63% of the voters who said they picked a candidate for trustworthiness picked Carey. And on the issue of taxes, 51% of the voters who are concerned about holding down taxes voted for Carey. And that probably was a result of Carey's announcement early on of a tax cut of more than $1 billion, the main effect of that to take place in 1979. Chuck?
All right, Tony, thank you very much. One thing about Governor Carey is that he does come from behind. Carl Stokes is here right now. And Carl, Hugh Carey in 1974, if you'll recall back then, came from behind in the primary to beat Howard Samuels, came from behind to beat Malcolm Wilson in the general election. He came from behind to defeat his own lieutenant governor this time around in the primary, the first primary an incumbent's ever faced. Then he came from behind and fooled the polls to win again this evening. Why does Hugh Carey keep coming from behind to win?
Because they're two separate situations. One is when he came behind as a candidate, another one now as an incumbent. As an incumbent, he began with a kind of...
Carl, excuse me, yes. Microphone.
Would that help if I had the microphone? Okay. I had to take it off while the camera moved. As a candidate, he had the advantage of just running with certain party support. But as an incumbent, he had the anti-position that you remember Rockefeller used to run with a great number of times. In this come behind this year, though, he was blessed with the kind of candidates who ran against him. In politics, we used to say you can't beat somebody with nobody. And unfortunately, for these candidates, many people did not regard Marianne Krupsek as a viable person against the governor. She helped him to rehabilitate herself. Then when against Duryea wasn't able to even carry in a great manner his home base on Long Island.
So in a sense, the primary challenge really benefited Governor Carey.
It certainly did benefit him.
Thank you, Carl. We have another projected winner for you in the race for Attorney General of New York State. This opened up because Louis Lefkowitz, who has been one of the greatest vote-getters New York's ever had, decided to retire after 22 years in office. And we have Bronx Borough President Robert Abrams, our projected winner. Abrams is an incredible vote-getter himself. He almost beat Lefkowitz last time around. This time around, as you can see, with 25% of the precincts reporting, Robert Abrams is beating Michael Roth 60% to 40% and is our projected winner. In the controller's race right now, it's a little bit closer than that. We aren't able to project a winner. But again, the Democratic candidate is ahead, and this is the fourth statewide office that we see a Democrat ahead. 25% of the precincts reporting. Harrison Golden, the New York City controller, the only survivor of the city fiscal crisis, who was elected overwhelmingly last time around a year ago, is ahead in this race, as you can see. I didn't quite see the percentages there. What were they again? Golden about 54%, 56 to 44, was it? Okay, very fine. In the 18th Congressional District, we'll take a look at the results right there. This has been a race of millionaires, indeed. This is perhaps the most expensive race in the country. We reckon that the two candidates here, Burden and Green, have spent over $1 million on 100,000 voters, which is $10 a voter in this campaign, and look what it's gotten them, a dead heat with 4% of the precincts reporting. This one will certainly bear watching. This was a seat that was Ed Koch's seat. He abandoned that to become mayor, and this was the seat that saw S. William Green defeat Bella Abzug 8 months ago. So Green is the incumbent there, the Republican, but he is at this point in a dead heat. In the 23rd Congressional District, we have a projected winner. Right now, Peter Pizer, who once was a Republican, is now going to represent that district as a Democrat. 11% of the precincts reporting. Pizer, 57%. Angelo Martinelli, former mayor of Yonkers, 43%. And an interesting note, in the 41st Assembly District in central Brooklyn, parts of Flatbush, and in Crown Heights, we are told by our reporter Robert Potts that Stanley Steingut has conceded defeat after a quarter century in office. A very strange race, and we'll have more on that for you later. Right now, these messages.
You expect more from a leader.
You expect innovative ideas from Amoco. We were a leader in developing lead-free gasoline, the first major brand with 2 grades of lead-free, the first with premium lead-free. Amoco Premium Lead-Free, proven by experience to help stop engine run-on, to burn smoother and help stop knock, and even improve mileage because you don't have to change the timing to prevent knock. Amoco Premium Lead-Free.
Don't you deserve interest on your checking account? Aren't you fed up with banks using your money and giving you nothing in return? Well, those days are over. Now Citibank can give interest on checking. It's 5% checking. 24-hour banking gets better. So get out, go to the window and shout, I'm going to Citibank to get what I deserve. Interest on checking. I'm going to Citibank to get what I deserve.
Interest on checking! Interest on checking!
Interest on checking!
I'm going to Citibank to get what I deserve! Interest on checking!
On American Airlines, you get what you pay for. As a full-fare passenger, only you can select a seat when you make your reservation. You can select seats for your whole trip, including connections and your flight back home. And you can get all your boarding passes at once to avoid all those lines. On American, you finally get the full-fare treatment you deserve. You get what you pay for.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
We buy the big guys' typewriters, but you wanted Wang's word processor. Okay, David, let's see your giant killer tackle this giant report.
Yes, sir. With the Wang word processor, your secretary can store 4,000 pages and retrieve, correct, rearrange, and retype them faster than ever.
Sir, your giant report, thanks to Wang.
Wang! They are giant killers!
In New Jersey, former New York Knicks basketball star Bill Bradley is on his way to Washington to take a seat in the United States Senate, a seat that used to be occupied by Senator Cliff Case. Bradley defeated the Republican challenger Jeffrey Bell this evening. Both of them never been elected to office before. Bell staged basically a one-issue campaign, that issue being a massive tax cut, and it was not enough. As you can see, with 36% of the precincts reporting, Bradley is the projected winner in that race, getting 54% of the vote to Bell's 46%. So it is yet another in a long string of victories for Bill Bradley. Here are 2 reports now, one from Bradley headquarters and the next one from Bell headquarters.
Jeff Bell ran a clean campaign based on issues. He and I disagreed fundamentally. But because in 21 debates, we discussed what to do about taxes and government, inflation and jobs, we participated in a real campaign, not one based on personalities or innuendo. Jeff Bell was a hard and worthy adversary, and for that, he has my respect.
Given the success of our campaign in getting our message across, the verdict of the voters is clear. For the present, the electorate wants Mr. Bradley's policies rather than mine. But what has proved true... But what has proved true in 1978 may not prove true in the politics of the 1980s.
All right, repeating that Bill Bradley has won the election in New Jersey. In Connecticut, Governor Ella Grasso is winning re-election tonight over the Republican challenger Ronald Saracen. And Ronald Saracen is out of a job as of this evening. He gave up a seat in Congress in Connecticut's 5th Congressional District in order to run against the incumbent governor. And she is winning quite handily, as you can see, with 62% of the precincts reporting in Connecticut. Governor Grasso is getting 58% of the vote to only 42% for Saracen. By the way, the battle to fill Saracen's seat in the 5th CD in Connecticut is quite a contest. We'll have more on that for you later. First, though, we are going to give you again 2 reports. The first one from Ella Grasso's headquarters, and then we'll have a statement from Ronald Saracen.
I think we won. And I think that it was a great victory, truly. We had a wonderful turnout, and that's the expression of the confidence and the interest of the people of our state in their affairs. And I said before that we've been so honored to serve them all of these years, and it will be my pleasure in these next 4 years to renew our partnership and to get all of our work done.
I just was able to get a call into Mrs. Grasso. Her phones were rather busy, and it took us a few more minutes than I expected to, and so I apologize for the delay in coming down here. I did call, obviously, to concede, to wish her well, as she...
All right, by the way, Ella Grasso was the only woman nominated by one of the major parties for this election in the country this evening. Tony Guida has been looking at some of the poll information that we've been collecting all day long at selected precincts around Connecticut, and he has some thoughts on why she's rolling up a big victory tonight. Tony?
Jack, our News Center for Associated Press Election Day poll shows that political newcomer Bill Bradley, we go to Jersey first, political newcomer Bill Bradley won because of party solidarity. 91% of the state's Democrats voted for Bradley, 73% of those voters who call themselves liberals. And surprisingly, 44% of the voters in New Jersey who agreed with Bell's call for a tax cut still voted for Bradley. Now, getting to Connecticut, Governor Ella Grasso fashioned her victory with 65% of the state's Italian-American voters, 60% of the women voters, and with 9 out of 10 of the 54% who gave her a job rating of good or excellent. She was also able to keep Republican Ron Saracen from making any sizable inroads into any sector of the electorate. Chuck?
We'll take it here. Thank you, Tony. A couple of other notes. In New Jersey, the race for Essex County Executive and the government reorganization over there, 26-year-old Peter Shapiro is the projected winner, and High-Lie is being defeated in New Jersey. It was on the ballot as an additional form of legalized gambling. The High-Lie referendum is going down to defeat, and News Center 4 will continue right after these messages.
Hey, Tony, I'm going to change your sausage.
Change my sausage?
Change your sausage.
Today, you're getting brown and served.
Get country fresh flavor without that greasy taste. Change your sausage to brown and serve.
Ready in 1/3 the time. Swift Premium Brown and Serve sausages have country fresh flavor with a juicy taste, not a greasy taste.
Juicy!
Not greasy. I'm glad you changed my sausage.
Change your sausage to brown and serve.
Introducing a new road car for America's toughest proving ground, the '79 Ford LTD. With more front seat room, more rear seat room, more window area, and more handling ease than last year's LTD, plus the power of a V8 engine standard. A road car to take you cross town or across the country.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
For America's toughest proving ground, the '79 LTD, only at your Ford dealers.
Abracadabra, I sit on his knee. Presto, change-o, and now he is me. Hocus pocus, we take her to bed. Magic is fun. We're dead.
Josephine Levine presents Magic, a terrifying love story starring Anthony Hopkins, Anne Margaret, and Burgess Meredith. Rated R.
Starts tomorrow at select theaters in Manhattan, Westchester, Long Island, and New Jersey.
This loyal Dannon user actually nicknamed her baby boy after our yogurt. People are loyal to all-natural Dannon because we're loyal to them.
Jack and I will have more election returns for you later this evening. But first, the other news of the day. A Staten Island ferry missed its slip by 700 feet in fog-bound downtown Manhattan this morning. More than 250 commuters were injured. Most of them were released after emergency room treatment. There are 5 of them, though, who are still hospitalized, and Bob Teague has a report.
3,000 Manhattan-bound commuters were standing or sitting on the 730 Staten Island ferry, plowing through heavy fog when it crashed into a concrete seawall. The impact sent hundreds of passengers sprawling on the decks, against steel fixtures, and down the stairways. Some commuters got squeezed between cars parked on the boat.
I didn't see anything. All I know, I came crashing through the door. I fell on my head, and the next thing, everybody was on my feet, and from my knee down, I feel very paralyzed.
The boat hit the wall near the edge of Battery Park, about 250 yards from the ferry slip, hidden by the fog. The impact buckled the asphalt roadway in the park. The boat itself suffered heavy damage, but did not take on water. The steel deck on the bow, half an inch thick, was peeled back like the top of a sardine can. The boat's captain, a veteran of 30 years on the Staten Island run, was badly shaken by the accident. He could not explain how it happened, despite the use of radar and a compass. A lot of questions have yet to be answered as to what happened to the 730 Staten Island ferry and why. We may get some of the answers at a Coast Guard hearing set for Thursday. Bob Teague, News Center 4.
The owner of a candy distributorship in Audubon Avenue in Manhattan shot to death one of his employees this evening. 22-year-old Santos Fernandez was killed during a holdup attempt at the store. The owner told police that 2 men entered the store. One of them began to pull a weapon. At that point, the owner took out his pistol and he fired, hitting Fernandez instead of the 2 holdup men. Detective Horace Ford, an off-duty cop working as a bank teller, was killed yesterday during a shootout at the manufacturer's Hanover Trust branch in Flushing, Queens. The robbery suspect, David Robinson, was also killed. And Heather Bernard reports that detectives are searching for accomplices.
Since early this morning, they've been studying photographs of the crowd taken in the bank before and during the holdup, determining who was there and why.
We know through the photos in the bank that there was about 35 people present in the bank. As of this time, we have located about 10. Would be helpful to us if we could contact, or they could contact us, the other 25 people that fled.
Robinson was living about a block and a half away from the bank at 142-21 Franklin Avenue. Police arrested the man they say he was staying with here, Raymond Lemoire. Lemoire was charged with violating his parole by associating with a known criminal. Information detectives received here led them to a second associate, Robert Jennings, who police arrested yesterday for possession of 3 sawed-off shotguns and 47,000 amphetamine pills, part of a shipment police say was taken from a Mount Vernon pharmaceutical company in an earlier armed robbery. Police say the dead gunmen met both Lemoire and Jennings in prison. Robinson was sent to Attica in 1973, where he served 5 of a 7-year sentence for armed robbery. Police say he had been transferred to Clinton last winter after they say he stabbed a fellow inmate. He was released 3 months later. Heather Bernard, News Center 4.
And on this election day, the vote on the dollar in the stock market was one of little confidence. The dollar lost ground on European currency exchanges. Gold bullion prices jumped more than $5 an ounce. On the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped almost 15 points to 800.07.
Here they come. Here come all the great new fashion looks from London Fog. Jackets, warm wool coats, leathers and raincoats that are exciting, classic, absolutely fabulous. That's the London Fog tradition. All the fashion news, plus that famous attention to detail. That's what we at London Fog call quality. That's what you call value.
Fog outerwear is available at Hanes Company.
Now there's a brighter way to Amsterdam.
We're shining brighter.
Starting December 13th, National flies non-stop to the heart of Europe, from New York to Amsterdam.
We're shining brighter.
Now National, the 3rd largest U.S. airline to Europe, flies you in wide cabin DC-10 comfort to Amsterdam.
We're shining brighter.
All with a way of doing things that's as big and bright as the sun itself. The bigger we get,
the brighter we shine. Watch us shine.
Everyone is following their luck to Lotto, New York's big money game, where you have 2 chances to win a fortune for $1. Just choose 6 numbers from 40 in each game. Then turn in your ticket and get the carbon copy, so you can check the numbers you picked against the numbers drawn on TV every Saturday night. Every number you match brings you closer to one of thousands of cash prizes, and 6 right could win up to $250,000 or more. Lotto, play it wherever you see the sign. Your lucky numbers could win you a fortune.
I told 2 friends about Fabergé organic shampoo. And we told 2 friends. And so on, and so on. We Dallas cheerleaders are telling our friends about super rich Fabergé organic shampoo with pure wheat germ oil and honey. For super shine, super body, and fresh smelling hair, use it every day. You tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Fabergé organic shampoo and conditioner with pure wheat germ oil and honey.
Iran's new military government tightened its grip today. As Jim Bitterman reports, the day saw arrests of prominent Iranians while businesses tried to clean up after the devastation caused by rioters in Iran.
Iran's new military government has not changed things here much. One of its first promises was that there would be adequate supplies of gasoline and heating oil. Still, there were long lines waiting for rationed amounts of fuel in one of the richest oil-producing countries in the world. On the streets, there are more troops than ever enforcing the martial law. Perhaps because of the military presence, there has been relative calm on the streets. One reason, the universities have been closed for a week, streets around them blocked by soldiers. Meanwhile, Tehran residents were trying to clean up the mess left by the rioters. The government information offices were among those attacked. There was very little the demonstrators had not destroyed. At the Amran Bank on Cox Street, the employees were beginning to sweep up the debris. There had been $10,000 in the bank's safe, which is gone now. The manager didn't have any idea when he might be able to open again. The Tehran Bazaar has been closed for 3 days now. There is an old story here that if the bazaar remains closed for 3 days in a row, the government will fall. But now that the military is in charge, that doesn't seem likely. The anti-government forces here are not armed. With the military running the government, opposing the government is a risky business. Jim Bitterman, NBC News, Tehran.
Indira Gandhi, India's former prime minister, is back in political office this evening in a position of power, too. Mrs. Gandhi won a seat in the Indian parliament in an off-year election. The victory puts her in the position of being national opposition leader. Mrs. Gandhi was ousted as prime minister 19 months ago. Marv has sports after these messages.
It's 11 a.m. Do you know where your package is? Emery Express, the small package service that'll get it there before 11 a.m.
We took Arnold honey wheatberry bread to Paris because we respect good bakers, and we wanted to see if they respect us. They were intrigued by our original recipe, made with 2 different grinds of the wheatberry, fresh honey, tart raisin juice, and never any preservatives.
C'est bon. Je respecte ce boulanger américain.
Honey wheatberry. It makes Arnold one of the world's most respected bakers.
For over 100 years, every year has been a vintage year for Kirin Beer. Kirin, the beer that's as distinctive as wine.
The Caine Mutiny and the Winds of War has now written the ultimate World War II novel, War and Remembrance, by Herman Wouk, the most eagerly awaited bestseller of our time.
Here's Marv Albert to bring us up to date on the world of sport on this election eve. Marv?
Well, Chuck, in that other election today was Jim Rice of the Boston Red Sox over Ron Guidry of the New York Yankees in a surprising romp. A landslide for Rice, who, of course, had a sensational year. .315 batting average, major league leader in 6 categories, including his 46 homers, 139 RBIs. But you have to be surprised that it was not even close. Rice with 20 first-place votes, Guidry with only 8, and Rice won it by 61 points. No question with the feeling that Guidry would be a shoo-in for the Cy Young. It hurt Ron's chances, and you can argue the merits of these 2 guys from now until next season. But Jim Rice has won it. He is the American League MVP. Scoreboard at the Coliseum. Islanders beat Minnesota 5-2. They are now within 3 points of the Rangers. Tomorrow night at the Garden, the Rangers go against the North Stars with 7 straight wins. The surprising Rangers have been on fire. A remarkable turnaround accomplished by this man, the coach and GM, Fred Shiro, who has turned this team defensively with both goalies, Wayne Thomas and John Davidson, excelling. I talked about the surge with Davidson.
You know, it's a 60-minute game. That's one thing we've learned. Yeah, we did quit a few times last year, and we did get down if we were down a couple of goals, but I mean, LA got us down early. We gave up a puck at our blue line. They came in and scored, and we gave it up again. They came in and scored again on a breakaway. We were down 2-1, but our guys fought right back, and we killed them in the third period. I think right now we're oozing with the confidence that if we do get down, no problem. It's a 60-minute game. We've taken a while to learn it, but we finally have accepted it, and we're not quitting at all.
All right, the other NHL games tonight. Another win for Atlanta, beat Vancouver 4-2. In the third, Toronto leads St. Louis 5-0. NBA, Portland's win streak stopped at 5, walloped by Washington 143-103. Milwaukee over Boston 125-108. Celtics now 2-8. San Diego beat New Orleans 121-115. And the hot Lakers 112. The Chicago Bulls 111. That's sports. Back to Chuck.
Thank you, Marvin. Here's Dr. Frank Field with a look at the weather, which was part of the story this election day. Frank?
Yes, it was, and it's cloudy now. There are a few showers around, most of them missing the city. Here are the readings in Central Park. At the moment, under cloudy skies, it is 49. The relative humidity, 77%. The wind is north at 9. Barometer is falling, and the 5-day forecast indicates that we have some lovely mild weather coming our way. Our 5-day forecast shows that temperatures will gradually begin to bounce back. After partly cloudy skies tomorrow, with the breaks appearing during the afternoon, we expect to get up to a high of 56. For Thursday, fair and mild. And note that on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the temperatures start inching back again, getting up into the low 60s on Thursday, into the mid-60s on Friday. And then by Saturday and Sunday, who knows? Forget about fall, with temperatures getting close to 70 degrees, lots of sunshine if our 5-day forecast holds up. So, for tonight, we're looking for cloudy skies and periods of light rain still possible, a low of 43. And for tomorrow, a gradual improvement becoming fair, and Jack and Chuck will be back right after this.
Ready, set, come to Altman's for pre-holiday fashion sales. Save on winning sweater dresses, knit especially for Altman's, were $66 to $95. Save half on French, Italian, and American designer scarves. You'll even save on gold and diamonds. You're the winner at Altman's, a most surprising store. Branches, too.
We buy the big guys' typewriters, but you wanted Wang's word processor. Okay, David, let's see your giant killer tackle this giant report.
Yes, sir. With a Wang word processor, your secretary can store 4,000 pages, then retrieve, correct, rearrange, and retype them faster than ever.
Sir, your giant report, thanks to Wang.
Wang! They are giant killers! I look everywhere. I find nothing.
Suppose you lose your wallet on vacation.
I've no cash, no credit cards. You have nothing?
What about your raincoat?
Good idea. Mario?
We have no money.
We got problems. What'll you do? What will you do? Rely on American Express traveler's checks. If they're lost, you can get a full refund at over 60,000 places. American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without them.
Mr. Van Dyke, you're here to play touche. The object, get 4 pieces of your color in a row. But touche has a hidden force that may flip a piece to your opponent's color. So you may outwit your opponent, but can you beat the force?
Touche, the unique strategy game with a hidden force that changes every game.
Touche, Mr. Van Dyke, you beat the force. This time.
Touche, by Gabriel.
We have a very interesting development right now in the 18th Congressional District on Manhattan's east side. Even though the vote count is very, very close at this point, within a percentage point of each other, Bill Green and Carter Burden, if we take a look at the boards real quickly, we'll look at that. You can see right now that Green is ahead by only 2%. And we haven't called a winner here, but Mr. Green has claimed victory, and Carter Burden, a few moments ago, explained how he lost.
I think if you can point to any single factor
It was probably the endorsements of the dailies, particularly coming when they did.
The three daily papers.
Yeah, and I think primarily the Times coming out on Monday, right before the election. That's tough. The Times is very influential in the district, and I think based on the polling that we've been doing, I was well ahead, and you could see a shift immediately, and I think that really got the undecided vote, and that's the margin of victory.
And one other note, Governor Jerry Brown has been projected winner to win re-election in California. We'll have more for you in 20 minutes.
NBC News continues its election night report, Decision 78. Here is John Chancellor.
And NBC News now projects Edmund G. Brown, Jr. to be the winner of the contest for governor of California, beating Abel Younger. Jerry Brown expected to build up a fairly sizable lead.